The breadwinner. Breadwinner. Thick, heavy snow fell continuously from the sky, blanketing everything in sight. Occasionally, sleet stung the face of anyone outdoors in the wee hours of a freezing November evening. Few lights burned in the icy blackness. Many had been unable to pay for their gas or electricity, and thus the city was much more like a frigid tomb after dark. The silent specter of death roamed the streets, threatening to subdue many poor lives that stubbornly refused to be extinguished. An unforeseen blizzard during the Great Depression held New York City tightly within its grip as the citizens struggled to eat and stay warm. To see the great city during this period in history, one would have believed that it were entirely abandoned. Many of the homeless sheltered where they could in the forlorn city, at the park, on the sidewalks, or in the alleys. Children roam in the streets, vulnerable yet opportunistic urchins of despondency that stole or begged for any morsel or food that could be found. People of every age, size, and color were dying regularly, succumbing entirely and silently to the bitter cold as they slept fitfully, shivering. Many others had starved to death or were slowly starving. It was almost preferable to die in one's sleep from hypothermia, as it was commonly known that in the end one would be warm and free from the gnawing pain of an empty belly. For the many that suffer, there were those that saw the freshly deceased as an opportunity to thrive. I was one of them. I had been sitting in a dark and grimy alley next to a dumpster, malnourished and frozen. A thin sheet of discarded cardboard dropped over me, already covered in snow. I heard her long before I saw her. She coughed and staggered as she shuffled awkwardly in an oversized galoshes. A thin waif of a girl. She couldn't have been more than 11 or 12. Her disheveled and dirty blonde hair poked from beneath a tattered wool cap, and her dull brown eyes were glazed with hunger and despair. Her sodden, threadbare coat provided little protection from the blizzard raging around us. It was evident that she too would soon become a helpless victim of empty cupboards and the merciless cold. As she drew nearer, I remained motionless, anticipating. The innate will to survive drives the hunger, overriding any moral and ethical preconceptions. The palate is no longer relevant, and the knot in the stomach cares not from where, what, or whom the meal has come. I knew that it was only a matter of time before her stamina would expire, and she would collapse into the thick, wet snow that covered the filthy street. She drew closer still, paused, and fell directly into my lap. Her brown eyes stared hungrily into my lifeless own as she plunged a dagger into my heart. It made no difference. It had ceased to beat hours ago. Like I said, I was one of them, the freshly deceased.